Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick! Pointed stick!
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick?
Pointed stick!
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.
Okay. Hit the start button. All right. So here's the deal. I think I'm going to wait till about, let's say, the 10-minute mark. Do I have a, wow, StreamYard's got, oh, no, they do have the, yeah. So I think I'm going to wait till about 10-minute mark. And I'm going to drop something that, that I haven't told very many people, right? Only 4 people in the community know this. So, and I don't think I'm going to keep this video up because I don't think it's a reason to keep this video up. Thing is, with me, man, I don't really pay attention to Vegas anymore unless I'm going to do something. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it live, right? People have been asking in the Discord about whether or not Levi said he hurt his back, which I believe he did. That came from somewhere, and I believe that came from Levi footage. Now, I want to try playing the Levi footage from the original footage. And I don't remember if this works because on StreamYard in the old days, I don't think the audio used to work. So I think I'm going to have to play it off LVSA site, but I'm going to try. And again, I'm gonna start. I want to play something else real quick. And in fact, after this, I'll tell you guys what I want to say here. And after I play this little clip here, this is just something, and it's just gonna be part of a video from a guy named Matthew Cox. Matthew Cox is a dude that was like a fraud dude who went to prison, did his time, came out, started a little podcast. And he's on here with an FBI friend of his. And it's kind of interesting because this FBI guy used to work in Vegas. And I kind of wanted to just play a little bit of this and explain why this was interesting to me.
Well, 65-year-old Rodney Dean Buckle was a life coach in Las Vegas. And he had a coaching business under the name of Rod United. Hey, man, I'm Rod. You want to know how to... I'm gonna break it down for you on how you got to be living your life. Rod United. He could straighten out your life, and he also held himself out as a financial advisor.
Now, again, this guy's at an XF, I think he's ex-FBI. He might even still be in the FBI. But for Las Vegas, fraud division, I believe. And, and the other guy is Matthew Cox.
So he can not only straighten out your life, but he can straighten out your finances, Matt Cox. He'd invest your money for you and make you rich.
Oh, I'll have to do, can I just write him a check?
Well, you're getting there. And recurring theme today, he promised his clients 100% returns on their money. He's going to double your money.
Annually? Or monthly?
I don't think...
Let's go annually.
I think you just get your money back after he doubles it.
Okay.
Many of his clients were elderly.
If your workout still looks like this,
are you kidding me?
you need to start training with
Oh, are you kidding me? All right, skip this. All right, turn the volume back
Gave
up.
him amounts ranging from $100 to $700,000 to invest on their behalf. So he's got a wide range. Again, he has no license or training in investments or finance, and he never really told them what he would be investing their money in. But he's going to invest their money. But what he did with the money is he invested $2.4 million.
Now, I forget what he said the name of this was, but what was interesting to me is you replace his name with Stephen Paddock. A lot of shit makes sense. Now, I'm not saying this is like definitive. I'm just saying that to me, when I heard this, I'm like, man, this could go a million different directions. Like the motive behind what this guy was doing, how he was making his money, could go in a million directions, because this is just one story that this guy told out of, I think, like 12. I think he told 12 in the entirety of this thing, because this is an hour and a half long, and I'm just going to play a couple minutes of it.
From his clients in sports book betting in Las Vegas, where he lived anyway.
Sheesh.
Yeah. To his credit, he only lost $283,000 of that money, which is better than most Las Vegas gamblers' fare.
Yeah.
Right. So he is giving people returns back with the winnings, but the net loss, if he did all the books between his winnings and his losings, he's $283,000 short. I'm just a little short. I'm missing $283,000.
I mean, if I was investors, I'd be happy. At least they could have lost everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so this one's a little different because the case was investigated by the Las Vegas police and prosecuted locally. We don't do a lot of local crimes here, but
all right, so that's kind of the gist of it. Then what they do is they play a little game, and he asks him how many months he got as far as time in prison, based off of whatever factors he's about to talk about, which doesn't really matter. To me, it was just interesting because this kind of spiraled into, well, this is a possibility of a lot of these that they talk about. Possibilities of where Paddock was getting his money, Ponzi schemes, scams, stuff like that. And basically, it sounds like this guy was just, he would take your money, say he's going to make money off of your money. And as he made money, he would trickle back funds to you. So you gave him $3 million. Well, collectively, they gave him $3 million. He pays back $700,000, but he's still got the $3 million that he originally stole from investors, right? And then he gambles that, and he's trying to win. And in one of these, this isn't the one because I didn't want to watch the whole thing again. But in one of these, he actually talks about how this person was only doing it so he could be a big shot in Vegas and get all the comps out of the money he was swindling. And eventually it caught up with him because the investors came after him looking for their money. So to me, it was just like, okay, we have no proof that this is what was going on with Paddock. But to me, it's an easy possibility. Now I want to try something here. I'm going to see if this works, and if this doesn't work, because I wanted to watch the Levi Hancock footage real quick, and I want to see if this actually works as far as playing this and playing the audio of this, because this is the original footage, and I don't know if the audio is going to come through. And I know the first couple seconds there is no audio, but I got to test this out because I haven't done this in a while. But a little bit of Levi stuff. And I may rewind this because some of this is actually interesting. Once the audio comes in, I want to see if it's actually playing on the trying to see if this works. Trying to see if this works. Sounds like it's not. All right. Sounds like the audio is not working. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to go off of LVSA site, it looks like, and play this. And I got something to say about this video. There's probably a way to get this working, but I'm not really sure what it is. All right, so here's the deal. And wow, there's only one person in here. So this is just for you, right? because I really don't think I'm going to keep this up. I don't plan on keeping this up. But like I said, I've only told this to about 3 or 4 people, and I told them to keep it quiet. I told them not to say anything about this. When I got this footage, I told pretty much the whole story of how this footage came to be a thing and came about. But there's one thing I left out that I didn't tell anybody. And that is this footage was hidden. When I called and said I wanted this footage, the person that I originally talked to didn't know it existed. And that person had told me that they had to find it, and they had a hard time finding it. Now I asked them, I said, well, is it going to be in the footage, the general footage that you get when you ask the LVMPD for all the footage and all the evidence from this event? And she told me, no, probably not, because it's mislabeled. This footage was mislabeled, and that's why it was hard to find for her, which tells me it was hard to find for everybody. Why it was mislabeled, I have no idea. That's for people to speculate on. But I didn't say anything because, for one, I didn't want to trigger all the crazy conspiracy stuff that was going to come out when this first hit, which didn't really cause much. I mean, Hoover went a little crazy, but other than that, that's just because it kind of proved his stuff wrong. But like, I didn't say anything because like the media started hitting about 5 days after this footage released. Actually, not even that. It was like 2 days later. The media started hitting, and they started hitting up LVSA like heavily, and asking them, for comments on how he got the footage and where he got the footage and all that sort of stuff. And I told him not to say anything about this because I didn't want that cop who gave me the footage, who talked to me, to get in trouble. And I didn't want her to have any blowback whatsoever. And that's because like I'm sure she got it anyway, which pisses me off, which is why this thing kind of stalled out and died. But it would have been worse, because now all of a sudden, LVMPD cop admits that missing footage was hidden from the public or whatever, however they wanted to frame it, because the media sucks in America. And, so I didn't say anything, didn't want to say anything, didn't want anyone saying anything. And I just wanted to keep that between a few people. But to me, that's fairly significant, right? Because, the whole idea of them saying, Levi Hancock, he never had his camera on, which they never said. They never actually said. They insinuated, but they never said. Nobody can find any evidence of them ever saying that Levi Hancock actually said that. And nobody can find that. Everyone's been looking for that. Nobody can find it. See, that's the thing. What you're asking, you think it was meant to be mislabeled or a mistake? I don't know. I don't know. And, but the fact that this was the footage that they claimed, well, I said they didn't claim that it was non-existent. They were kind of insinuating it was non-existent. And everybody thought it didn't exist because he says in the footage he didn't turn his body cam on. And, which makes sense in context now. But it's strange. It's strange that it was mislabeled. It's still mislabeled. It's still locked in a file that is mislabeled. And it's not going to be part of the evidence that they hand out to the general public. So I don't know how to take that. I don't know what to do with that. I just know that the person that helped me out was really helpful on this, for a while there. And I don't think she'll be helpful anymore because of the media attention this got, even though it was minute and only about a day. I'm sure she still got a little bit of some flack from her superiors for this actually making it to the media. And so that's it. That's something I wanted to say. To me, it's like it could be substantial, it could be nothing. Who knows? But the fact that, yeah, this was hard to find, to me is interesting. To me is very interesting. I don't know why, because there's nothing on here really. Maybe it's just because they wanted a controlled release, and the Bitsco footage, they could kind of control it for the most part. Had a lot of chin going on there. But I don't know. I don't really get it because there's not much on here other than some personal information about Paddock, for him reading the players' cards and stuff like that. That's different from the Bitsco stuff. We don't see room 134 or whatever, stuff like that. So not really sure about that. Anyway, I'm going to play this a little bit. I want to watch a little bit of this. Like I said, I don't usually watch these videos unless I'm doing them live, these days, because, just figure might as well have a little watch party going on. So I'm going to play it a little bit. Just kind of keep an eye on shit. It's always interesting to go back through things. A little baby sense monitor on the controller on the camera on the thing. That must be the actual baby sense camera sitting there next to the vase. Those are shadows on the wall, so that's nothing. I don't know what those are shadows of. So it looks like something's floating there, but yeah, those are the flowers on the bottom there. I don't know if that's shadows or damage. I don't know what that is.
Dude, I counted 30.
And there's two vases there. Not sure which one he actually purchased.
13 objects.
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
There's one right
Control
there.
Zebra 20.
I like the tape over his camera right there. Tape over the camera. Someone's like super paranoid. And it's interesting to me. I mean, one thing I always thought was interesting how he put all the cards up there. He's got all the key cards for the rooms, all sorted out right there. And earlier in the night, we can see him swiping all the cards like crazy. I'm guessing that's how that organization came about. Which, I mean, you go back into the. I don't want to do this, but who knows? Someday maybe I'll get motivated. But to go back into the lock interrogation report and look at the timing on when he was doing those cards and how he was doing those cards, because it looked like, he'd swipe a couple cards and then there'd be a break. So he was coming in and out of the room, probably organizing the cards up on this counter, because I don't think those cards changed position from the time that he possibly did that. Let me say, notice no key cards behind camera, monitor table, like crime scene photos show. 8 total behind the monitor. I mean, right here, they're all right in front of it. That's all the cards right there. Oh man, you can make me look up the crime scene photo. Well, it's not even. I'm gonna say this, man. They ain't crime scene photos. Those ain't crime scene photos. Those are the curated photos they decide to give us. Behind the tablet. Info should go behind the tablet. Let's see. Requesting copies. I don't want requesting copies. Give me the damn final report. There it is. Oh, no, it's Document Cloud. I don't want Document Cloud. I want the LVMPD. Same requesting reports. Dude, I don't want this. Oh, it used to be so easy to Google search. Let's see. I got to figure out how to find this again without. You used to be able to type in LVMPD final report, requesting copies, high profile. Let's see, Department of Justice. There's Department of Justice link. Included by the LVMPD and actively monitor those resulted from 2012 report. Okay, that's 2012. All right, well, let's see what Document Cloud has. Yeah, this might be a little bit of a pain in the ass to do on here because of the the nature of how they changed the algorithm to find this. Because I know it used to be able to just type in LVMPD final report, and I know I have it on the system somewhere, but I don't know where. I have no idea where. So I'm going to have to dig it up online. Let's see. So looking for the room photos. I don't even know if I can zoom in with Document Cloud here, but that'd be interesting. I don't know, because like I said, the to me it's like the key cards are all set up on that counter. It looks like I don't remember seeing any behind the monitor though, but you could be right. I just don't remember it. But scrolling through this is a pain in the ass. Serious pain in the ass. Let's see. There's the counter. Okay. So what you're talking about? See, this is what I see right here. And again, I don't know if I can actually open this up at all. I can't figure it out. But this looks like what he was looking at on the counter. Now, there's some stuff over here that was not there in the footage. There's some stuff next to the little baby sense monitor there that was not in the footage. But I'm guessing since you have the wallet open in this picture, that stuff all came out of the wallet and was moved around, obviously. But as far as key cards, this is what I'm seeing. Oh, I see what you're saying. There's a key card behind the monitor right there. Okay, I see what you're looking at. All right. Yeah, I do see what you're looking at. So the picture with the monitor on the left-hand side of the screen does have a key card behind it. All right, good eye, man. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff in front of this baby sense monitor that let's open that up. There's a bunch of stuff in front of that baby sense monitor that is not there. And I don't see the wallet, dude. Is that the wallet right in front of him? I don't think it's a wallet, is it?
Control Zebra 20 copy.
Oh, maybe it is. Is the wallet's right in front of the notepad? I can't tell. I went to the Mandalay Bay. It was in Vegas for a couple of weeks. I'll post them up soon. Yeah, dude. I stayed at the Mandalay Bay for a bit there. That was
some information on a potential name possibly related with the suspect.
You see the tape on the phone?
There was a player's card that was out on the countertop next to the wallet of the suspect.
Why was the player's card out? Why was it out? We got two cell phones in in camera right here. One with tape on it. The other's got no tape on the front camera. If there is a front camera on that phone, I don't know. There's that weird charger everyone was talking about, the strange charger thing. Whatever. I wonder if the video shows like shot trickle vent open on the bottom of the window frame. Those are not in blueprints. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
419 break. It is a M Life Platinum player's card with the name of Mary Lou Danley.
The tape now. So where do you get this license from? Homeboy just pulled out his license. See, that looks like Paddock on that license too. Looks like Paddock to me. All right, so here's the deal, man. Like I was thinking about this, like somebody kind of got me thinking about all this bullshit. And the blue hose, right? Blue hose. That blue hose was interesting to me. It's always bothered me, man. That blue hose is just fucking annoying. Because like, what are you gonna do with that thing? Like that thing didn't even reach far enough to really do much. And let's see if I can find a good picture of the ending point of that blue hose. Yeah, it's right there. So blue hose, man, blue hose. Blue hose. Sounds like a Star Trek reference. But okay, you see where that blue hose is? You see where that fucker ends? Ends right there at the door jamb, right? That's not gonna do much good in the door jamb, right? So what do you got? What are you saying to me? Let me try to read the chat here. Let's see. In certain hotels with windows that do not slide open, they have slot vents for fresh air. You push that little black lever and open small vent to the outside. I didn't even look at that, man. You know, because I did stay in a room like this. It wasn't on this floor. I forget what floor it was, like the 12th floor or something like that. But I stayed on one of these end rooms there, suites. The Vista suite, I think we even asked for it. It was actually a double bedroom. But I don't remember. I don't remember much about the windows. I think I have footage of it. I think I do have video somewhere. I don't think they do, to be honest with you. I think those are like floor to ceiling just windows. I don't remember seeing vents like that. I don't remember seeing that, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I would think you would see them from the outside, right? Which would cause a problem with the overall appearance of what's going on outside, right? It's just one giant gold mirror. But I don't know. You could be right. I don't know. But like this blue hose, man. So you can see the end of it. You can see both ends of it from this angle right here. You can see how long it was, how it was maybe it was probably not going to be useful from where he was firing. The only thing that was going to be useful for is if he was firing down the hallway, but does not look like it was going to be useful for his little firing perch there. Maybe it was. I don't know. It's hard to say because it is draped away from this couch here. If you got it closer to the couch, maybe you'd have a little more leeway there. But I'm sitting here thinking like this hose. I know everybody likes to think that the plan was to dangle this thing outside the window and all that, and I don't see that, dude. I don't see fucking Paddock dangling this long ass blue thing held in only by his jaws, his fucking jowls, his dentures, hanging out that fucking window, blowing in the fucking breeze. I just don't see that. So I was thinking is one possibility, and I really haven't looked too much into this, but if you would drill, and this is what I'm thinking, is a possibility, which I don't see any evidence of it. But if you were to drill like a hole into that door and you were to take this thing apart and shove the hose through the door and close the doors, you would be fine as long as you broke a window out inside that bedroom. You'd be fine. I mean, you'd have air coming through the bedroom that you're breathing, He wouldn't be breathing the air inside the room. That's just something I was thinking of. But, that's just me. But yeah, I don't see fucking Paddock dangling this fucking thing out the fucking window, which is, I don't know. That's what a lot of people like to say. And this ain't going to reach all the way into 134. So I don't fucking know. That's weird. I mean, that's just me. There was something else that someone brought up that I was like, that's a good fucking point. And I can't remember what it was. It had to do, I think, with the tape though. And I should have done this video a lot sooner because I forgot all about it. I had this other little theory that was running around. I was like, shit, that makes a lot of sense. And I can't remember what it was. If I think about it, I'll talk about it.
Family. Mary, Adam, Robert, Ida, Lincoln, Ocean, Union. Last name is Danley, David, Adam, Nord, Lincoln, Easy, Yellow.
They live together. I checked the address.
Okay. Where did you see?
I saw she got chicks in this room.
Okay.
The scuba mask. The packing tape. There's a lot of tape in this room, man. I mean, he taped up the snorkel thing. He taped up God, I don't even know what else he taped up, really. I mean, the camera. I think he used the packing tape on the camera. I think it was the clear tape. I don't remember. I'd have to look at the photos again. There's something right there behind that.
Chicks in her name. They live together in Mesquite.
Control 020. It looks like that name I gave you shares an address with the suspect. We can give you that address if we need to send units there.
Oh God, it was. Oh man, what was it? Jeez, something's bothering me, man. Because I remember thinking, geez, that makes a lot of sense when put in context. I think it had to actually do with the suction cups in the bathroom, but not that they were to be used in the bathroom. Oh, that's what I was thinking, right? So I don't know, like the doors the adjoining doors, right? The adjoining doors. I don't know how they swing. Like they swing open. They swing open into the room, or do they swing open into the little alcove between the doors? I don't remember. I'd have to look it up again. But I was thinking about that. Like, what if that's what suction cups are used for, right? He leaves the adjoining doors unlocked, and just in case they get locked up for some reason or another, or he screws up and he leaves one of them closed, man, he can hit those suction cups, because they don't have a I mean, you could do this with a pry bar too, but they don't have a shit, you could probably do it with a coat hanger, but they don't have a handle, right? They don't have a handle on one side. They only have a handle on the room side. But I wonder if, I don't know, I was thinking about this, like if those doors swing open from the inside, you could tape up that hinge, the thing in between, and you could just use the suction cups as a fucking door handle at that point. But I don't know. It was just something that was run through my head the other day.
What is
the doors between rooms? So the door between room 134, 135, right? I just want to know if they swing into the actual rooms, because there's two doors, right? There's a door to 135, there's a door to 134. And I'm curious if they swing into the rooms or if they swing into the alcove between the rooms.
What else are we looking for, Levi? Just ID?
Yeah, and that's going to be the same as his driver's license address as well.
See that? Like, see the way the ammunition is? It's always bothered me. The way the ammunition is, man. So, like, he had all the clips stacked up that he was going to use. Like, I don't know why he'd stack them up on the floor. I don't know why you wouldn't just put them on that damn table next to where he was firing from, but whatever. But like, the ammunition you have in those two suitcases right there, none of that was used. I don't think. Well, one of them might have been used for the door, but I'm not sure. I don't know if he reloaded those or not. I'd have to go look again. I know one of the guns fired 21 rounds, and there's supposedly 32. It's kind of up in the air whether it's 31 to 33 rounds shot down that hallway. According to the report they put out, I could put 33 rounds down that hallway, but it's sketchy because they don't use like fucking plain English, and it's kind of difficult to discern what they're trying to say versus what's actually down there. But and the people have counted the holes in the door. The holes in the door seem to be 32, but then there's some that are kind of, wonky. So, 21, that means another gun had to fire another, let's see, 32. So God, my math is off. So 11 rounds out of that door? It was always interesting to me that he had these clips that were smaller clips that he never used. He just didn't use them like at all. Just didn't even think about them.
Hey, do you?
Okay, so there's the camera. God, I can't even make it out. I can't even make it out there. What's on that table?
See any reason we need?
Because there's supposed to be the BabySense camera. It looks like the power cable for it. I can't tell what the other trash is there. It could be just debris, but I don't know.
Need to be in here at this point?
Nope. Be back out.
Okay. Yeah, let's just back out.
We need to get armor for those bags over there. They're clear.
He took a look at them.
What's inside with the wires on? A vibrator. Huh? A vibrator. Is it really? Mm-hmm. And the other one is just a power cord, power strip. Nothing else in it.
Now, when they say vibrator, let's see, 2 doors in if you are in 135, left-hand door hinges on the left, in swing opens inside towards the room. Okay, so it doesn't work. So what I'm saying doesn't work. Okay, so that's nonsense. Back to the drawing board on that one. Okay. Yeah, you're right, because they blew that in anyway. So yeah, that would make sense. Because that door, if it was hinged up on the other side, yeah, it probably would have come down inside of room 135, or it would have been just a mess in that little alcove there. So vibrators, man, I was thinking about that. Like, just because it said it's a vibrator, everyone's thinking like sex toys. Like automatically, dude, everyone goes to the fucking Hitachi fucking lawnmower, fucking crazy shit. I'm wondering, because you can go on, Amazon, and you can find massagers, right? Like a big thing right now is people are all over Instagram massaging their cats with these little, back massager things. And so like, I'm wondering if like by vibrator, they're actually talking about one of those massager things that is like not sexual. I was kind of wondering that. And he's an old man with back problems, right? Wonder if that's the thing.
What's this here?
That's mine. That's mine. Will you do me a favor? Pick that up. That's what he was doing.
So they actually mentioned the drill. Something by the door. He's saying something about drill. Right there, bathroom light, toilet is on, exhaust is running. Important to remember. Okay.
Your last.
JC's got something set up.
Yeah, we saw the
What is that? What is
cameras. It's cameras.
Is that camera down there
Yeah.
on the floor? Okay.
We saw it when we breached this door. It was something. We knew it was something.
You've got a drill. What the hell is a drill?
That's what he was doing.
He said there's a drill over here. There was some kind of drilling, I think. Yeah, bathroom light is on. Problem is, did they turn it on? Or was it on before? But I see where you're going. Since the bathroom has a vent, you're saying, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? If he's that smart, man, yeah, turn the vent on in the bathroom just to help with air circulation. And then where does that vent to? Does that vent to the other? Could that possibly vent to the other room? Which, oh, dude, I just don't want to think about that, man. Being in a room with someone else's, yeah, that's dirty. But I mean, is it possible that that could vent out and lead to other rooms? Yeah, physics related. Okay.
Your last.
JC's got something set up.
Yeah, we saw the
What is that? What is
cameras. It's cameras.
Is that camera down there
Yeah.
on the floor? Okay.
We saw it when we breached this door. It was something. We knew it was something.
Okay.
But dude, I had to get a charge on this door with all the other shit going
Dude, stop shaking your head, bro. You don't have Tourette's, man.
on. I felt like we had to see if we got a response from this
Cover
guy.
that door while you're doing that.
Yeah.
We had you covered down here.
There's another one facing down.
Man, I was hoping to get a good view of that gun. Here. He did look at it at one point.
Your last.
JC's got something set up.
Yeah, we saw the
Oh, come on, dude.
What is that? What is
cameras.
All right, there we go. That's the best we're gonna get, right? Let's see. Not other rooms, hallway, ductwork goes down 22 feet, then up to the roof to exhaust. Oh, okay. Huh. That gun right there, right? This is something, man. And 10, if you hear this, man, I miss you, dude. I miss you, bro. I'd love to have conversations with you about this sort of bullshit, but that gun, dude, the way it's laid down, like if you picture like that dude shooting from that spot right there, because I'm guessing that's about where he shot from when he's shooting down the hallway at Campos and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. Knee to the ground had to be knee to the ground, right? Because the way those bullets went down that hallway had to be fucking knee to the ground. And but he put that gun down, and you know the argument of right versus left. The way that gun's put down, that looks like a left-handed shooter. But again, it's that's a fucking crazy ass argument. But if you're doing that, like you think about it, you know, if you were doing something with your right hand, I mean, it would take a little more thought to actually put that on your left-hand side when you're right-hand dominant and you're actually shooting with your right hand. Let's see. Hello. Just watching Levi again a little bit because somebody was asking about whether he mentioned having back problems or not. Let's see. So rooms not connected, ductwork, fire code, all separated and isolated on purpose. Okay. 10-4, got you there.
It's cameras.
Is that camera down there on the
Yeah.
floor? Okay.
We saw it when we breached this door. It was something. We knew it was something.
Okay.
But dude, I had to get a charge on this door with all the other shit going on. I felt like we had to see if we got a response from this
Cover
guy.
that door while you're doing that.
Yeah.
We had you covered down here.
Yeah. All right, are you guys gonna keep this whole week? The rest of the other two, yeah.
Sarge, we're good. You can clear everybody else out that you need to. Actually, let's leave. Can you give me at least 2 bodies to at least stay here?
Elevators. Did you just say elevators are back on? I think that's what you just said.
Talk about it for a minute if you want. We'll reduce it. We might have more we have to do.
You guys stay here. Nobody else in and out. Listen, let's go. In case we got multiple places, we got to go.
They just said a man with a rifle walking into the
Hey, where is my gear bag? Is it down the stairs still?
They brought it up here. We have other gear bags up there. One on their channel.
So man with the rifle walking into Bellagio. So I wonder if Homegirl called that in.
Hold until we get down there.
What's that?
Is this one the green one?
Yeah, I need to get my initiator. Did you grab that one? That one? Okay. I don't want them thinking it's a pipe bomb.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Under that weapon, there are pieces of MDF particle board, not consistent with hotel 20-minute fire rated doors. This bothered me for a long time. It looked to me like it was pieces of wood in the report, but I'd have to go back and look at the report because I do remember that, and I remember thinking that's weird that he had. But see, you got to understand, dude, and this is like something that I've been fighting people for a while over, right? Those were not crime scene photos. Those are photos that were curated to give to you by the LVMPD to, you know, put their narrative together to give you something to believe in their narrative, whether it's true or false. You know, I'm not saying either way, but the those photos are not crime scene photos. Half of them don't have the tags on the evidence and stuff like that. I mean, there's just nothing there. And then you also have clipboards and stuff that were left by, you know, crime scene investigators, stuff like that. They wouldn't have that in crime scene photos. Elevator lockout was removed approximately 11:37 when the suppression system was disabled. Good point. Crime scene photos are non-existent. Yeah, crime scene. So the thing with crime scene photos, I put in a FOIA for them with the FBI. Supposedly, I'm going to get them. Supposedly. I think I'm about 2.5 years, maybe 3 years into a waiting list for those. And they said they would get them to me in 5 years. And they're going to come on compact disc because there's a shit ton of them, I guess. But what I get, I don't know. If I ever get it, I don't know. They actually sent me a letter at the beginning of the year asking if I still wanted them because it's been so long. And it's like, yeah, fuckers, of course I still want them. But yeah, I'm supposed to be getting the crime scene photos. It's just at this point, man, I'm not holding my breath, dude. I don't fucking know.
Let me get my.
I'll do whatever.
Hey, will you hold that for me for a second?
Yeah, you can do a request for the first 50 pages and maybe get, if they're willing to give them to you. I mean, you know, I was surprised they were willing to give them to me, or they said they were. But like you said, I don't have a lot of faith in the FBI.
Gregor, you want to stay here? I'll stay here with you.
I don't know where my other initiator went.
Might be down there. I'm on the shop. I'm on the
Hey, did somebody else pick up my other initiator?
the one that was in the hallway?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
What are you, you're talking about? Hold on.
my plant. Yeah. You know what? That's fine. I'm not worried. Listen, I'm not.
This right here.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Thanks for your help, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's go.
Yep.
Come on. Okay, so there's a good view of the cart. We do see it blowing here, by the way. Just saying, cart is blowing. Look at that shit. Look at that. And it's blowing away from the room. I'm just saying. Just saying. Not blowing away from the doorway. Not blowing away from the stairwell. It's blowing away from the room. Just saying. Just saying. Not trying to start a fight here. Just saying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's whipping too, man. There's some air coming out.
Hey, Sarge, are you staying here? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Is there anything you guys want me to do?
Let's see. My biggest problem, I looked at every available body-worn camera. 32nd floor is the only floor that has wooden doors in the foyer connecting to the stairwell. Yeah, I mean, some of these doors, like, God, where did I come up with this? I can't even remember why I have this in my head. I think it was when we stayed there that one of the doors, for some reason, to me, felt like it was put there from another room. Like it was taken, like someone damaged the door and they took it off of another door, and it was kind of mixed match with the doors that were in the room. But I don't remember where I came up with that. If it came up with that out of body cam, or if it came up with that at the point where we actually stayed there. I don't remember. Respectfully, the tablecloth is blowing consistently with the 60-20 wind velocity from stairwell pressure. The wind from the window is absurd. I'm going to argue with you there, dude. I'm going to agree to disagree with that. Because that motherfucker, there, we're going to go back to that. Because the way that's blowing, that looks like wind is coming up under that, but it's coming from one direction. From the north, I guess? I think it's north, right? It's facing north. See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's coming from the north. It's not coming from, because he's standing in the doorway, right? So if the wind is actually coming from the doorway and it's blowing straight out of the doorway, I mean, physics would say that the side facing us would be blowing inward. But that's not what's happening here. The wind is blowing from the outside, right? So you still have some pressurization going on from outside in, which you would think would already be done. But if there was any wind current outside at all whatsoever, because, you know, if so, I forget how many feet up these guys are, man. What was he? 32nd floor, about 8 foot each, with a couple feet in between. So you got about 130 feet up. The pressure 130 feet up, though. I mean, the fucking straight weather 130 feet up. If you ever seen fog fucking hang 130 feet off the ground, you know, there's a different kind of weather pattern that happens at altitude that doesn't happen at ground level, right? I found every floor when I went there, all metal doors. Physicists, police cannot lie about it. The wind would be going both directions. It's very consistent with system activated. I mean, I'm just saying, dude, this thing is blowing from the north. Something's blowing that curtain from the north, right? That's just what I'm saying. That's what that looks like to me right there. I mean, I would expect to see the side facing us with this little plate on the ground. I would expect to see that bowed inward if we're talking about pressure from the stairwell. Now, I'm not saying there is no pressure from the stairwell, because I do believe what you're saying is true, is accurate. But I'm just saying that I think there's more pressure coming from the room itself that is overwhelming the pressure coming out of the stairwell. That's what it looks like to me, with the way that's blown.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, you can tell there's wind, because when we go back to, let's see if we can see it in here.
That address, if you
Come on, walk out, bro.
Hey, do you see any reason we need to be in here at this point?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, let's just back out.
For those bags over there,
Yeah.
they're clear.
He took a look at them.
What's inside with the wires on? A vibrator. Huh? A vibrator. Is it really?
Yeah, I'm not. It's gonna take forever to find that. Let's just keep going. But if you look at like the way the windows bowing in too, man, you got that curtain blocking some of the wind. So there was wind that night. Let's see, 4.4 miles at 1120 at 258, 260 foot. 13th floor, really. 25th floor. South southwest wind speed would be 7 to 8 miles per hour, no obstructions. But you also have, okay. You got me there. I didn't know you had the exacts on that. But like, we're talking about pressure as well, right? Pressure from the outside versus pressure from the inside. You have what's probably a lower pressure, what looks like a lower pressure system inside this hotel. And as the air from the outside, it's going to create its own wind, right? It's going to create its own thing, because what's happening is pressure from the outside is trying to regulate itself with the pressure from the inside. Now, the pressure from the inside, you're talking about a giant glass bubble, in space here. And if it's got a lower pressure system inside this hotel than what's outside the hotel, you're going to get that pressure trying to regulate itself, which means the pressure from the outside is going to be pouring inside. It's going to be filling all these hallways, all these rooms. As they're opening rooms, it's going to fill the stairwell. It's going to fill the elevator bank. It's going to fill all the fucking floors eventually. Let's see. When the breach occurs and bits goes on the stairwell, you hear it. The stairwell does not suck in wind. Defeats the purpose of life safety systems. Exactly why system. Yeah, but you got two competing wind sources, right? You got two obviously competing sources, right? So you have something from the stairwell blowing, from what you said, how many feet down? 260 feet down or whatever. You got a source down there blowing up, and then you got a source, 50 feet away, blowing, not even that, like 20 feet away, blowing air into the hallway. Right. So you got two competing systems, right, that are fighting with each other, over that. And it looks to me, I mean, just from that right there, dude, it looks to me like the pressure from the outside air was dominating the pressure coming out of that stairwell. That's just what it looks to me.
Control Zebra 20. The fire alarms went off on our floor when the explosive breach went off break. We're also leaving this room with Sergeant Matchko, and my team is going to go downstairs, so if we need to redeploy.
We'll come with.
And 34.
All right. You good?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, where's our CP at? Do you know?
The CP is at the front. The CP for this is the front parking lot of South Central.
We'll figure it out. You coming with?
Yep.
You guys coming with?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Picture car tire that needs 40 psi. Then there's core size hole, but then there's a pump that supplies enough air to keep that pressure at 41 psi. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, dude. I agree with you. Your stairwell, you know more about that than I do. But what I'm saying is, just looking at evidence here, there's obviously an airflow coming from that room. And, there's an airflow coming from that window. And that's evidenced by the bowed curtain in front of that window, right? So there is air coming from outside to the inside. That would tell me that, because you're talking about wind speed being low and being from the southwest, which, wouldn't have that much of an effect on them, that tells me that we're dealing with a pressure system here, right? So we're dealing with a high pressure system outside of this, which is the only thing it could be at this point, is a high pressure system outside coming inside, to a lower pressure system, trying to fill that void. 134, yeah, that too. You have two windows open, but they're all coming out of one area. They're all coming out of the double doors. That airflow has to come in through those double doors. Anything coming from those rooms has to come in through those double doors. That's the bottleneck of that airflow, right? And it's got to go straight down that hallway. Like I said, I think, what you got is I'm not doubting that you're right about there being something in the stairwell blowing air up through there. But I think that that's probably a lower pressure system than what's actually coming from the natural environment outside of the hotel. Because it's the only thing that makes any sense here, right? There's no wind. There's no wind outside. So the only thing that could cause an airflow within that room would be pressure, would be the pressure system, right? So if you have more pressure, a higher pressure outside, lower pressure inside of these hotels, because this hotel is a sealed unit within space. And if you have a higher pressure outside, that pressure wants to equalize, but it can't equalize because it's a closed system. Once you open up that system through two little ass windows in this big ass hotel, this big ass unit, now all of a sudden that air's got to come in through one spot, through two windows from the outside, and it's got to fill the entirety of this hotel with the high pressure. Yeah, wind velocity is definitely different. Yeah, and it is creating a current. It is creating a current of wind that is blowing through that room, that hallway, that room, all of that. Right? It's blowing the curtain. It's blowing the curtains on the cart. It has to be, right? And that's, like I said, the way that cart is blowing, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, right? And I would say, even if there is a pump in the stairwell at the bottom blowing shit up, this air coming from the outside is overwhelming that. So yeah, there probably is two currents coming in, but it looks like what we're seeing there is the current from the room, not the current from the stairwell.
Do they want this? Is Route 91 above here? No, it's across the street from that side. Have we figured out 29 is involved at all? No, I think that was just a guesswork.
I'm thinking it was only that guy.
Yeah, because Jair needs out there. Did he see any of the broken windows besides that lobby?
That was across the street on the boulevard.
The curtain in the room. Okay. Let me read this. I'm just reading this because otherwise people have no idea what I'm saying if they listen to this. Even if you believe what they're saying, in my opinion, the curtain behavior being completely static is implausible. It would show erratic movement. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at the Bitsco footage and see that. Let's see. I could actually pull it up, I think. Since this went completely off the rails of what I was originally looking at, but what I was looking at wasn't very exciting anyway. So it's all good. Let's see. So let me find. Well, the next morning you see the curtain blowing outward, right? Because at that point you would have had a naturalization. I mean, you've had hours at that point, so you would have had a naturalization of pressure systems, right? So let's see. So I go off to Las Vegas. Yeah, and I don't have a ton of time here, so yeah, I don't see myself getting to what I was originally doing, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. You got me talking about Vegas, man. I'm happy. I'm good with that. I think, is this Bitsco? Yeah, this is Bitsco. So we can run through some Bitsco stuff. I mean, because it doesn't really matter. Oh, shit. Ow.
Can you tell me where it's coming from?
Ow. That hurts. Actually, completely the opposite. Pressure would be constantly changing. No, because the pressure from the outside world is different from the pressure inside. Well, okay, so I don't know how atmospheric pressure is tabulated, but if you're talking about atmospheric pressure outside is a certain amount, then it's going to remain that until the weather pattern changes, right? So you have like if you have a high pressure outside the hotel, you have a low pressure system inside the hotel, right? The high pressure wants to get in, right? But it can't get in. So now you open up 2 windows inside that hotel, right? And that hotel has no open windows. So there is nothing coming in other than what's coming in through the bottom of that hotel, the doors and all that sort of stuff. And, maybe the first couple floors have some doors to the pool and stuff like that. But, other than that, it's a sealed unit. And it's so now what you have is you have 2 windows suddenly broken open, which doesn't matter. Let's see. I've always wanted to ask you when you guys when you guys obtained Levi footage, you mentioned something in your opinion why the footage was initially withheld. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, right? I don't know if you were in here at that time. And no, dude, you got me going, dude. It's fine, dude. You're keeping me going here. But again, I don't have a lot of time here, so I got about another 20 minutes. So anyway, here's the deal, man. And I don't know if you weren't. I don't think you were in here when I mentioned this, right? And this is probably the only time we're going to talk about this. But the only thing I withheld when we got this footage, and I've only told it to about 4 people, I think, at this point that know about it, which were the people that helped get the footage in the first, is the footage was mislabeled. And so when I talked to them originally, I talked to this lady originally. I basically told her, and this was thanks to Chimp in the Discord. I originally told this lady, "Hey, look, I want this footage. I know it exists, and we know it exists because we've seen it on TV." And and so because of that, she went looking for it. Right now, what she had to do is she had to look for the footage. And because what we did originally is we ordered a copy of all files relating to this incident, right? At LVSA, go pick it up at the LVMPD, picked it up, and the Levi footage wasn't on there. It was supposed to be, but it wasn't. It was released to the public, so it should have been there, but it wasn't. So now what we had to do is we had to go in and ask for the footage itself, and I did that. And so when I did that, I got I was talking on the phone with the officer, and she was telling me, I asked her, this is why it came up. I asked her, is this going to be part of the release from now on? Is everybody going to be able to get access to this by just asking for the release of all files? She said, no, probably not, because this file's mislabeled and it's not where it should be. Which is strange, right? Which is really strange. And I don't know what to put on that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So to me, you know, it's awkward. It's awkward because why was this mislabeled? You know, this is footage that they never said didn't exist, but they insinuated that it didn't exist. So, you know, that's man. Like, why is this footage mislabeled and stuck somewhere it shouldn't be? And why didn't they fix it? Right. And that's the one thing I withheld because we didn't want to throw this out there immediately. You know, mainly because we didn't want all the conspiracy, you know, people running with it. It's out of proportion and causing a problem for the future. Because the idea was we weren't done with the LVMPD. We weren't done trying to get information out of the LVMPD, and they were actually being fairly good with us. So, you know, they were actually decent to work with. And so the idea was to get more information out of them. Well, you know, I don't think anybody saw the media getting involved. We're talking to LVSA, you know, I told them straight out, don't say anything about that. Don't mention it, you know, that this was, you know, hidden footage or whatever. Because at that point, you know, the media would have ran with that. What is the LVMPD hiding? All of a sudden, this officer that I was talking to would get in trouble. You know, the LVMPD would clam the fuck up and we'd never get anything ever again. And that was kind of the ideology there. I didn't want this blowing up the way it did. But, you know, as far as the media goes, I mean, it didn't blow up that crazy, but, you know, enough to where I'm guessing that person, that office got a little bit of a talking to about, you know, what they can release and what they can't release because, you know, it ended up in the news. But that was the thing, right? That was the thing. It was straight up mislabeled. What that means, I don't know. They used to play on words, my opinion. They used to play on words. Well, that's what the media does. That's generally what.
Last name is Danley, David, Adam Noor, Lincoln, Easy Yellow.
Where did you see? I saw you got chicks in this room. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier, man. Like, you know, as far as this footage goes, I think this is very important footage. I think that they probably, but it doesn't show much. And this is now I'm on Bitsco, but what I'm talking about is the Levi stuff. And I think what they did is they put out the Bitsco stuff, and I think with the Bitsco stuff, they could kind of curate it, and you know, they kind of knew what was there. You know, I don't know. Levi, the only thing in Levi is Levi's going through a lot of the personal details, saying the names, looking at the players' cards, looking at the driver's license, stuff like that. Otherwise, I don't know what's in the Levi footage that they were so afraid of. They would be afraid of releasing. No, I think the media is. I think the media is worse. I think the media in America is fucking terrible. There's no such thing as news in America. There's opinions in America. See, like right there, you can't tell if that curtain's moving or not. You just can't tell. It doesn't. You don't have enough time for that. There's not enough frames for that. Yeah, obviously nothing's moving in here.
445 type stuff right now.
And those curtains are heavy as shit, dude, by the way. Those are blackout curtains. Those things are heavy as hell. Let's see. Also, the end of seems cut off or truncated where he walked into the elevator. Yeah, it was cut off in the elevator because, well, I mean, I think there was a time frame on that. So LVSA was talking about how these things record in like 30-minute segments or something like that. He knows more about that than I do, about the Exxon cameras. but they recorded segments, and I think that was the end of that segment. And then after that, they figured, well, it's over. We don't care anymore. And he may have turned his camera off after that. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. So here's your ventilation system. That's the that's the AC right there.
Control 020. It looks like that name I gave you shares an address with the suspect. We can give you that address if we need to send units there.
Yeah, sure. I don't know why it ended where it ended. I have no idea. I said he could have just turned his camera off because maybe he thought like we're done. But yeah, you said there's no beep. I don't know.
What is it? 1372. That's 1372 Babbling Brook Court, and that's Mesquite, Nevada. Babbling Brook Court.
Okay, so there's a good picture of the curtain, but you can't really.
Yeah, that's going to be the same as his driver's license address as well.
It's hard to tell. There's not enough frames in that.
Hey, do you see any reason we need to be in here at this point?
Nope.
Let's see. Also, those curtains. No one mentioned it. There's 3 curtains. Yeah. So motorized, and the third, the thermal insulator. Yeah, I believe the outside one is the blackout. Yeah, there's a shear on the towards the window, I believe. If I remember right, there's a shear on the window, and then there's your insulator, and then there's the blackout, and then yes, they're motorized, so they open from the inside out, which is problematic for what he was doing, which is probably why he did it the way he did it. He didn't actually open the curtains, right? Because if you would have opened the curtains, it would have opened from the inside. He would have had to change windows, pick a different window.
I say we back out. We need to get armor for those bags over there. That's suspicious enough. Oh, you open it? What's inside with the wires going in?
A vibrator.
Huh?
Yeah, see those curtains right there? Those would have opened, I believe. I mean, this is when I stayed there, this is the way they opened. They opened from the inside to the outside, and they would bunch up at the point of those pillars right there. Third one is the one that does not slide. The one with the pattern. Those cover the drywall, keep the heat and cold contained. That curtain with the pattern is the insulator. Oh, the curtain. Okay, I thought that was a blackout. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's like a silver, I think, in between them. So yeah, that would be the blackout. You're right.
Vibrator.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. And the other one is.
It had a little bit. It had a little bit of a shot there of that curtain. It wasn't moving too much.
Okay.
Really wasn't moving at all.
Okay.
19.
Which was the automatic? Did you have a belt fed fucker in there?
No. You know the status of the other 2 wings?
So we came to see what else you needed.
If you could, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, just keep teams going.
Right here and then go over to
The
wings on stage.
Yeah, the wings on this floor. Yeah. We got our guys already clearing below, working their way up. So yeah, if we could just, if you could just work those 2 wings, that'd be awesome.
Got it. Yep. Was that you that we went on 29? That was a communication part on my bad. You know what's going to happen. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the only spot where we had the. I think he goes back in, right? Does he go back in? I think that was the only spot where we really had the a good view of that curtain for any kind of frames. You see a bunch of jar heads in the parking lot there of the room. Let's go back. Always remember the end. Good will always triumph over evil. Always remember in the end, good will always. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that anymore. The end is never certain. Bitsko lied there on purpose. Covers for the fellow officer expected. Yeah, I would expect that too. Yeah, totally.
Hey, do you see any reason we need to be in here?
I probably would too. Yeah, I don't know who shot that. I don't know. Someone's gonna went off. They're gonna find out anyway. Who's missing 3 bullets?
Nope, I say we back out. We need to get armor for those bags over there. That's suspicious enough. Oh, you open it? What's inside with the wires going in?
Yeah, there we go. This is like the best view I've found so far of that curtain.
A vibrator.
Huh?
A vibrator.
Is it really?
And the other one is just
Yeah, it really doesn't move all that much, man. Doesn't move all that much. I'll give you that.
power cord. Power
Okay.
strip.
Okay.
Which one fucking 19. Which was the automatic? Did you have a belt fed fucker in there? No. You know the status of the other 2 wings? So we came to see what else you needed. If you could, yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, just keep.
But you got to admit it's bowed, right? The curtain's bowed inward. What would cause that? If not some sort of wind movement or some sort of pressure or whatever you want to call it, right? I would call it wind just because, it's pressure meeting pressure, which causes wind anyway. What do you think would cause that? If not some sort of air pressure coming from outside. Like, what would cause that? Nothing. I mean, I don't see this guy doing some fucking boning trick on the windows. It just doesn't make any sense. AC running potential a slot vent. Oh, you're saying a slot vent on the in the windows. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. I thought you were talking about something different. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to have to go through my old footage when I was there and see if I have any footage of that. Because I could probably share that with you. The room would be starving for air. You know what? I may have footage of that, if that exists. I may have footage of those windows. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I should have. Shit, man. If I didn't take footage of that window, man, I'm an idiot. But I wouldn't doubt it. Because I was at the time, we were very interested in the doors. And so we were messing with the doors the whole time we were there. And I have a lot of footage of the doors. Please, because that's the only thing I didn't check when I was there. Yeah, see, I don't even think I checked. But I'll see. I'll see if I have footage. I may have it. And if I don't have it for that floor, I don't have it for that room that I was in, I may have it for the other room that I stayed in there, because I stayed there twice. I stayed in a regular suite, and then I stayed in one of these suites like this. But we weren't in this wing. We were in the I don't even know. I don't remember. We're in the I think we're in the 300. Yeah, it'd be the 300 wing because we were facing the parking lot. But yeah, I believe we were in the 300 wing when we were there. Yeah, because it was, I think that was the time. Well, we were facing Delano, if I remember right. So yeah, it'd be the 300, right? Yeah, 300. Because yeah, 200 faces the airport. So yeah, it would be 300. I think we're in 300 wing. Did anyone ever come to your room? You mentioned once before that you purpose. Okay, so yeah, as far as the hot sauce goes, it's bullshit. Now, the problem is we went during COVID, right? So COVID was a different weird thing, right? We went at the end of COVID, right when they opened up Vegas. And yeah, so I dated a girl who was a very high roller out there in Vegas. And that's why, I was able to pull this off. And, I think she's still a high roller in Vegas, but we're not together anymore. But, she got the room comp to us and all that sort of stuff. the thing is, we stayed there one day and we did an actual live stream from there. And I didn't realize it, but I left the door open on purpose, but I forgot to actually close it. And I think it was open for, I think it was an hour and 20 minutes, if I remember right. I believe it was an hour and 20 minutes, and nobody called, nobody checked, nothing, dude. It was open. And it wasn't like wide open. It was cracked, right? It was, sitting uh, on the locking mechanism, right? It's just kind of just chilling. So it was just cracked. And then I think it was LVSA said he stayed there after that, and he left it open for a straight 2 hours, and nobody bothered him. And that was after the COVID stuff was over. So I have issues with the hot sauce alarm being the excuse for why Jesus was up there. I really have an issue with that. Like, I think it's, again, I'm not the conspiracy person, but I don't believe the narrative. So I would not be surprised. I would not have a problem with the reality being that Jesus was up there to check on something else other than a hot sauce alarm. Maybe someone reported that there's a bracket on the door, and maybe somebody reported that the door wouldn't open from the stairwell side. Maybe he was up there to see what the fuck Paddock was doing, and they don't want to admit it because that means they sparked this whole thing into motion. I don't know. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think, I have, but it's speculation, right? I'm talking about 5-6 years later, I went there, and all of a sudden the hot sauce alarm doesn't seem like a big deal. It doesn't seem like they cared. I'm like, conspiracy scat. Oh, if this story really bothers me. Yeah, a lot of things bother me about this, man. I'm the same way. I don't like conspiracies that are based off of. See, I just don't like people making shit up, right? And I don't like it when people get an idea in their head, because I don't have ideas in my head really as far as what happened and what didn't happen, right? I'll tell you, like, I think this is a possibility, but when it comes to what do you think happened, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, I know that this dude shot a bunch of people. It's pretty obvious to me that he shot out that fucking window and was shooting people down there. That I believe that, dude, straight up. But as far as is all this other shit legit? Nah, I don't think so. Campos, could he have been up there for a hot sauce alarm? Yes, he could have. And they could have just dumped that hot sauce alarm system after this event happened, because it caused some problems, right? It caused this problem. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I just saying it's very possible. I don't like that the other maintenance guy never entered into the narrative only until Campbell's story fell apart. That was one of the biggest red flags for me. I was a big Shuck denier forever. Like, I believe Shuck was bullshit in the beginning. It was LVSA that pulled me out of that, because he's actually on the radio. You can hear him on the radio. He was up there. He was up there at some point. So, and he was saying, it sounded like a jackhammer down the hallway or something like that. But I don't remember what he said on the radio. But he said someone was shooting down the hallway. I know that. But yeah, I had an issue with Shuck in the beginning. I don't know, dude. I think, Shuck may have been one of these things where, they didn't want the media attention. So, they had Campos out there. They couldn't deny Campos was up there, because Campos seemed like he was kind of a bitch anyway. So he was going around saying he was going to go on all these different interviews and stuff like that. Supposedly, this is according to his brother-in-law, I think. And he was kind of being a pain in the ass of the hotel, saying he was just going to do all these interviews because he was going to give him money, because they weren't giving him any money, and fuck them. And then all of a sudden they decided to give him all the money and put him on Ellen and shut him the hell up. So Campos was probably the kind of guy that's like, hey, I'm going to make money off this, dude. I'm going to get rich off this. I'm going to go on all TV shows, all that sort of stuff. And they knew they couldn't stop him, you know, unless they Hillary Clintoned him. But, you know, so he probably had a loud mouth. And then Chuck was probably just like, dude, I want nothing to do with this, man. I just got shot at. Fuck this shit. And then what most likely happened is they said, look, you know, I would think, right, this would be my brain functioning is, you know, you have Campos, right? You're fucked. If Campos is your star witness, you're screwed, man. You were so hammered. Like, he's a horrible witness. But he's your guy. He's your poster child, man. He's the guy that's going to go out there and say, I was up there, dude. You know, I'm the witness. I'm the guy. I was the one that he shot. I was the one that was shot at in the hotel. And, you know, then he got Shuck, right? And Shuck's probably just kind of in the back wings. The hotel's probably telling him, hey, shut the fuck up. Don't say anything. And he's probably like, yeah, okay, no problem. I don't want the heat. You know, but then Campos out there running his fucking mouth. Well, all of a sudden you have the dipshit, this Campos, who's a total dipshit. I mean, you read his statements, he just talks like a dumbass. And you're like, oh my God, this is the face of this event. This is our mascot of the Mandalay Bay for this event. We're screwed. We're screwed. The ABC Nightline episode aired a year after the event accidentally left a different timeline image in the video. You'd have to explain that to me sometime. I don't have time right now to go through that. But that's the way I always saw it. And then they threw Shuck out there, right? Because Shuck's, you know, he's the clean-cut kid, man, all-American-looking dude, you know, and pretty well-spoken. Looks like he's very robotic in the way he talks, like he's reading a script and he can memorize a script. Whereas, you know, Campos is kind of a loose cannon. That's just my theory. That's what I think, you know, happened with Shuck. I think Shuck was originally going to be hidden there. You never have heard his name. You never would have known about him other than the radio traffic. Except that Campos was such an idiot that they had to put Shuck out there. So Campos was not the face of this event. That's just me. That's what I've always felt about that. Anyways, I got to go. Like I got no time left. So I'll talk to you next one. It's good to see you, man. Good to have you around. And yeah, I'm glad you kind of kept me going here. So I'll talk to you on the next one.
Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick. Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick?
Pointed stick.
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.